Hey guys, this is Miko from ML Sound Lab, and this will be my first Helix video ever, so I hope it's great. What I have going on here is just a Mark V or Mark IV type preset that I've kind of compared with my real life Mark V. So the settings are a little bit crazy, but I just want to get the sound as perfect as possible with just the amp and the IR here. So you can see my settings here. Nothing too crazy. Gain is all the way up, stuff like that. But it's pretty basic, I guess. But what I really want to talk about is the new Mega Oversized cabinet that we just came out with. And this is the first time that we have a cab pack that's in WAV format. So finally, Helix users can also use our IRs, and you can use them with Kemper. You can use them with Headrush. You can use them with atomic amplifiers, you know, positive grid, and obviously your DAWs as well. So I just want to show you what it sounds like. Right now I'm using this one Almighty mix, which is kind of the best mix in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. You have 8 mixes in this pack, so I'm just gonna run through them for you guys. This Almighty one is kind of like a John Petrucci type thing, so I'm gonna play something by him. So as you can hear, it sounds pretty good, and it's just the IR and the amp here, so there's nothing too magical going on except for the IR. So obviously these mixes that I create for these packs, they are kind of special, so let me just show you what they sound like. But before I do that, I want to tell you why they sound the way they do. So most IR producers out there don't really create IR mixes for real, meaning that they usually shoot single mics and then create mixes afterwards digitally. But the way I do IR mixes is that I really mic up the cabinet with multiple microphones and then create the mix at the spots and then shoot that IR. And what it means is that obviously all the microphones are not perfectly in phase with each other, and this leads to kind of this smeary, phasey effect that makes all the difference and makes it sound much more realistic. So that's kind of a big part of the secret here. But let me just show you what these mixes sound like, and then I'll show you the single mics. Okay, the next mic up is kind of it's called Infamous. This is the type of mic up that we use with periphery. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with my previous work, but you can hear my IRs being used by periphery on some of their recent work, especially Periphery 3 Select Difficulty was tracked using my IRs, and this is kind of a homage to sort of that sound. So my guitar is not that low, so I cannot play something too chanty, but maybe I'll play something periphery like. So that's kind of a recognizable sound as well. These other mixes are based on different philosophies that I'm not going to go into right now, but I'm just going to show you what they sound like. So Malign. This is kind of the type of mic up that someone like Linkin Park used to do in the new metal days. So it's kind of a Royer 57 based sound, but all of these mixes have multiple mics in them, so it's a little bit different. Okay, the next one, Omnipotent. This is kind of based on the 57 M160 type mix, so very pleasant sounding. Very creamy, very pleasant. You will not be a bee sting in anyone's ear using that IR. Robust is kind of a fatter type sound, so once again, really good for those heavy riffs. Rugged. Solid. So this is kind of this mic up is based on kind of the Petrucci newer type sound, kind of like Backs of Angels type sound. So already I think it's pretty impressive to hear that I'm not touching the amp at all. I'm just changing the IR, and you're getting all of these very usable sounds that sound really good just by switching the IR. Supreme is the last one here, and this is kind of a funny one. I just used the most expensive mics that I have and threw them in front of the cabinet, and it actually sounds pretty damn sweet. So you know, it's it's really nice sounding. But that's the last of the mixes, and what I really want to go through here is that we have these single mics, and this cap pack, unlike any of the packs that I've done before, this actually has 8 mics in it. And so it starts with the Royer 121, Beyerdynamic M160, a Neumann KM184, then obviously this is the Byte microphone with the 421, the 57, you know, it's a must-have. But I also want to have a 58 and a 7B here, kind of give you some variation, because I think most people will just jump for the 57 and never look back, which is completely fine, obviously. But you have really nice sounds from the 58 and the 7B, and they're different than the 57. So let's just start with the 57, because I know everyone wants me to do that. So as you saw in this list, all of these microphones are marked A, B, C, D, E, and A is the darkest position, and then it gets closer to the speaker all the way up to E, which is the brightest position. All of these positions, however, are sweet spots. So this specific cabinet that I have has a really nice sound to it, and you can do stuff like this. You can definitely not do this with every cabinet or every speaker out there. So let me just show you what it sounds like. This is kind of the darkest position you can get with the 57 here from this cap pack. So it almost passes as a mixed IR because it's in such a kind of a sweet position. But if you feel like that's too dark and you want to get something brighter, especially if you're creating mixes in post, so you have these options to position the microphone in post here by just scrolling through. So let me show you what it sounds like. So the brightest position for the 57 will be this one. And I believe that's probably the brightest sound that you'll ever need out of a cap pack. But it's still pretty pleasant sounding, actually really pleasant sounding because of this cabinet. But you know, a mic positioned this close to the center of the speaker would normally sound really bad. But this is definitely usable. But if you're just going to be using one 57 microphone, then I highly recommend maybe dialing this back to maybe C or A, somewhere in between there. So once again. That's really nice sounding, the C one. And the A is kind of a darker position. For kind of a, you know, once again, Petrucci type of 57 sound, the A is kind of the perfect position. For gentler genres, I would definitely have a more brighter position. C or E. C is pretty good because it's kind of bright enough, but still not so bright that it's kind of stingy sound. So. And this is just a 57 microphone once again. We have the 58. It's probably the most similar microphone to the 57, but you can place it more in the middle of the speaker and still get kind of a darker sound. So. The 7B is really great on its own. So definitely the fattest sounding one out of the Shure microphones here. So. And that's sort of taking the sound to kind of an AC/DC type thing, which is crazy. Once again, I've still not touched the amplifier at all, just switching the IRs here. And here's the brightest position for the 7B. And obviously these were just the dynamic microphones. One of my favorite microphones is definitely the 160, because on its own it's really nice, almost like a 57, but obviously a lot more body to it. I love that microphone, and if you want to blend it with like a 57, it's really good to have this kind of a darker position here. And obviously, if you really want to get a lot of low end, then it's better to use the 121. And that's the brightest position for that. If you want to get like a darker sound, then and this is kind of the coolest part about this pack, that you can virtually microphone, position the microphones here in this UI. So now if I want to try a different mic, I'll just jump to the 160. Or a Neumann. If I really want to get a bright sound, then I'll pick the 421. And the 421 on its own is pretty harsh sounding, so I usually blend it with a 57, and together they kind of create this awesome bitey sound that doesn't really have that much low end. We still have the 906, just to give you another dynamic option. That's probably the brightest microphone actually for this pack. But once again, I have not touched the amp at all. It's all in these IRs right here. And what I personally use the most is this almighty. I'm kind of a Petrucci fan, as you can probably already tell, as I've mentioned him like 5 times already in this video. But this is kind of the sound that I personally like to use. So once again, I'll play this, and this will be the outro for the video. So thank you for watching, and take a look at this pack. It's pretty awesome. The link is in the description, and bye bye guys. Cheers and thank you for watching.